2021 was a standout year for the new face of Xbox with the Series S and X. New studios and more ways to play. 2022 is about to begin, and the lineup of games to release from first-party, third-party exclusives, and day-and-date releases on Game Pass number well above 30-some games in just one calendar year. And compared to the competition, Xbox is arriving in 2022 in a big way. And there are even a couple of unannounced games coming next year that Xbox is holding on to for a big reveal in the coming months. Looking at 2022 alone, it's very clear that Xbox isn't content with well enough and has more than enough to impress on the platform. The question is, are the fans ready? This is Colteastwood. Welcome to the channel. Today I've got a bunch of clips from games where I've cut down the trailers to show mostly just gameplay. So if you end up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new content, and let's look at Xbox in 2022. 2022 starts off for Xbox in January, and there are well over 30 games coming from a variety of studios partnered, owned, and in acquisition talks, with Xbox Game Studios already churning out promising, compelling, and refreshing new games across multiple genres. Some games are long-awaited new surprises, and some come from veteran studios bringing their games to the Xbox platform first. All of the games shown will be fully playable on the Xbox Series S and X consoles, with some supported on legacy Xbox consoles, game streaming, and more titles not shown here coming only to PC on Game Pass. It is an impressive list, with the mantra of Xbox has no games fully buried in the past. Xbox 2022 starts in mid-January with the Anacrusis. The Anacrusis is a 4-player cooperative first-person shooter set aboard a massive starship stranded at the edge of explored space. Team up with your friends in an infinitely replayable fight against alien hordes to unlock perks, weapons, and new ways to play that you can share with your team. Seasonal episodic, the Anacrusis tells the story of 4 unlikely survivors. Unlock new perks as you play and share your unlocks with everyone on your team. Shredders is a classic Cool Borders meets SSX from Foam Punch Games, and multiplayer on Xbox Live is built into the core of the game for cooperative play, multiplayer competition leaderboards, and sharing tricks and moves with friends across Xbox and PC. Riders Republic and Steep have scratched this itch, but Shredders aims to be a fully featured, passionate look into snowboarding, and it finally will hit the slopes in February of 2022. Replaced is from a new studio building the multi-platform, retro side-scrolling action puzzle game, a 2.5D sci-fi retro-futuristic action platformer where you play as Reach, an artificial intelligence trapped in a human body against its own will. Replace combines cinematic platformer, pixel art, and free-flow combat with a deep, engaging dystopian story set in an alternative 1980s. Explore and uncover the mysteries in and around Phoenix City from the perspective of Reach, who is learning how to be human in a society that has taken a turn for the worst. Replaced is coming to Xbox Game Pass day and date in 2022. Somerville is the spiritual successor to Inside and Limbo from the same creative director, Dino Patti, working for a new studio, Jumpship. Somerville is an action-adventure game played from the third-person perspective, most oftentimes like a platform game. Like Limbo and Inside, the game is presented without dialogue, instead using the setting, environments, and animation to tell the story. This is exclusive to Xbox and Game Pass in 2022. Stalker 2 is a long-awaited PC first-person masterpiece, now a sequel, coming to the Xbox Series S and X and capable PCs. This is a visually striking post-apocalyptic game about exploring Chernobyl and the ecological, environmental, and supernatural disaster. Experience one-of-a-kind gameplay featuring the elements of a first-person shooter, immersive sim, and horror. Play a major part in a non-linear story that unfolds in the settings of dark science fiction. Your duty is to decide the fate of the zone. This is a benchmark-setting graphics game powered by the Unreal Engine 5, a first new release on Series S and X. This is a full-featured single-player experience beyond the reach of what we played in Metro, and the multiplayer mode is coming soon after the release as a free update for the game. Stalker 2 starts exclusive on Xbox in 2022. Keeping in the first-person action horror shooter genre, Warhammer 40,000 Darktide is the successor to the Vermintide series with a strong emphasis on firearms and ballistic weapons. A fully drop-in, drop-out 4-player co-op game with AI-controlled teams if you're playing as single player. The game's story will focus on a squad of Imperial Guardsmen investigating the potential Chaos infiltration on planet Autonoma Prime. With alien attackers coming in swarms, flanking lone wolves, and overwhelming teamwork, players can upgrade their class characters, craft better gear. Warhammer Darktide is fully exclusive to Xbox in 2022 and is slated to release in the spring, just after Stalker after a short delay from last year. Evil West is a mix of The Surge, Devil May Cry, and God of War. In a visceral, explosive combat, unleash hell with your firearms, lightning-infused gauntlet, and gadgets. Kill bloodthirsty monstrosities in style as a lone hunter or in co-op with a friend. Explore and fight in a narrative-driven campaign while upgrading your weapons and hunting tools. Unlock new perks to evolve your monster slaying mastery, crafting your own playstyle to defeat supernatural hordes. And it's being rumored that Evil West is being included in Xbox Game Pass day and date. If this is true, we'll know a month before it releases. Not much more can be said about Scorn, a Lovecraft, bloody, slow-burning first-person puzzle-based shooter that relies on bone and flesh as the vehicle for weapons to fight through a disgusting, visceral nightmare. Scorn was due in 2021, but has been pushed to release in 2022. The game looks slow-paced, calculated, exploration through gauntlets and locked pathways, guarded by hulking, faceless alien creatures. Scorn will likely make an appearance in late 2022, a niche, interesting title for mature audiences, of course. A Plague's Tale Requiem is a huge multi-platform release since the first iteration was a cult award-winning hit on all platforms just a couple of years ago. Skin-crawling swarms of infectious rats and touching story of a sister and brother working together to survive a historic plague. But when Hugo's power reawakens, death and destruction return in a flood of devouring rats. Forced to flee once more, the siblings place their hopes in a prophesized island that may hold the key to saving Hugo. Strike from the shadows or unleash hell, overcoming foes and challenges with a variety of weapons, tools, and unearthly powers. A Plague's Tale Requiem is coming to all platforms, but is releasing day and date on Xbox Game Pass, which is a huge bonus for Xbox players. Atomic Heart takes place in the Soviet Union in an alternate reality sometime in 1955. The main protagonist is a mentally unstable KGB agent called P3, who is sent by the government to investigate a manufacturing facility that is fallen silent, only to find out that the machines have gone rogue and bioengineering strange experiments. Atomic Heart is a first-person video game with role-playing action elements. The combat in the game consists of shooting and melee. There is a strong feeling of Dead Island meets BioShock. Atomic Heart is a multi-plat game, but coming day and date to Xbox Game Pass. Deathloop, two rival assassins trapped in a mysterious time loop on the island of Black Reef, doomed to repeat the same day for eternity. One thing not stuck in a time loop is the exclusivity of Deathloop, a game that was money-hatted by PlayStation as a launch exclusive in 2021. The game will fully release on the Xbox Series S and X on Game Pass for no additional charge for subscribers. Deathloop has you retrying levels of precision and resetting upon death until you make your way to the end. It was nominated for several awards and won for the best art style at the Game Awards. Arcane Studios is working for Xbox now, and this brings the partnership full circle in September on Xbox in 2022. Due in the late summer is the bigger Arcane Studios team making Redfall. A quaint island town of Redfall, Massachusetts is under siege by a legion of vampires who have blocked out the sun and cut the island off from the outside world. Trapped with a handful of survivors against diabolical enemies threatening to bleed the town dry, choose your hero from a diverse roster, grouping up with others to create the perfect team of vampire slayers. This is 4-player co-op, a mix of Left 4 Dead and Borderlands, choosing class-based characters you can play as a weapon inventor or a telekinesis expert, a commando with a robot sidekick, or a supernatural-powered sniper class. Arcane has not missed with their games, and a 4-player semi-open world vampire slayer game sounds interesting to say the least, but this is one that Xbox has been most excited about from the acquisition that lends to some surprise and delight to see in a showcase very soon, coming in late summer of 2022. Forza Motorsport, a next-generation only racing sims. This is a wide-set, fully featured racer with room to grow over the years. Physics, handling, tire models, and suspension are receiving full support from the new modern hardware with 48 times the refresh animations to make cars feel more realistic than any other racing title has offered. The head of studio have hinted that 2022 is indeed the release date, with a massive showcase at E3 in 2022. An epic RPG sci-fi space opera, Starfield is coming, and it is committed 22 lineup. But Xbox, believe it or not, is not done. There are 2 more unannounced games that are supposed to stealth release for Xbox, and one is possibly Compulsion's dark fantasy RPG third-person open-world game. We have not seen Compulsion's Project Midnight, and it has a ton of potential looking at the final version of We Happy Few. The game is very likely to be one of the exclusives. Xbox has hinted at making a debut at E3 and releasing before the end of the year. The other title we haven't seen or heard of officially could be Project Dragon, with the team at I.O. behind the Hitman series. This is a third-person, over-the-shoulder fantasy RPG. Xbox wants to surprise fans with an already full docket of games, with even more to bolster the platform and Game Pass, which is already impressing critics and disrupting the industry in all positive ways. 2022 will be home to final reveals for Perfect Dark, Avowed, and Fable, and teases for what the Coalition and many others are working on. So for Xbox fans, the wait is truly over, and thanks to strong third-party partnerships and a full list of first-party studios, the fun resumes on Xbox, and it starts in just 2 weeks. This is Colteastwood. Thank you so much for checking out this video. There were a lot of games to show, and there were some 30 plus games already confirmed for Xbox Game Pass. And looking at a list of a bunch of AAA games coming to the platform, it's kind of amazing to see how far they've come and the long wait that has taken place since Xbox Game Studios started in 2018. We're already seeing all of the games ready to release in 2022. If you like this video and you enjoyed it and you like this kind of content, consider subscribing to the channel below. You can also hit the bell to be notified of new content weekly that goes up, and you can join the channel membership or Patreon if you'd like to see videos like this about a day early. Also, check out the XNC podcast, where I interview people from the industry or other content creators and talk about the news for the week, and that goes up on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, as well as the channel. But I want to know what you're most excited about from this list of games. Is there something here that surprised you? Or is there a couple here that you've been waiting forever to play and you can't wait to play them next year? Let me know in the comment section. And while you're there, be nice.